So you've got a problem. How do you then develop an effective challenge prize? I don't know if a few of you noticed recently Roger Bannister passed away. It was quite a big news item. Why was it such a big news item? This was an athlete who had broken the world record back in the 1950s. There was something that inspired him and inspired the rest of us about a very simple formula that we as simple human beings like, which was the 4-minute mile. This is what motivated him and other competing athletes to try and solve that problem. It created an Oscar-winning film, and 60, 70 years later, we still remember it, and it's firmly in our heads. It's that principle that you have to get across if you're going to create a challenge that's going to attract people and inspire them to address the problem as close as possible to that. Again, an example of coming up with a clear challenge prize statement that people understand and that motivates them is the NASA Green Flight Challenge, where they had a very clear goal, which is flying for 200 miles on less than a gallon at 100 miles an hour with 2 people on board. This wasn't made up. This was setting a target that they understood could just about be achieved, could just about be solved. It was very clear what you needed to do to solve it. So the innovators understood, if I can do that, I will win the prize. And it was just about feasible and possible, and that was solved by an East European company, Pipstrel. So you've got your clear problem, but how big should your prize be? Well, there's no real definitive formula around this, but essentially if you're looking for new science and new technologies and breakthroughs, and your R&D costs are significantly high, your prize needs to be significantly high as well. If you're looking for incremental changes, slight modest improvements on the status quo, then less so. And it's important to take into account the potential R&D costs of potential innovators. And then there's 2 approaches to the development of a prize itself. You can just have a prize, £10 million, here's the prize, off you go. It almost never works. If you're going to be attracting new innovators to come in and address a problem, you need to be identifying quite early on who the best innovators are. You need to be providing them with amounts of funding and support in order to de-risk it and make it possible for them to be in the running and in the race. So almost always you have to have a staged approach with interim awards and support and all that sort of thing along the way. So there's quite a lot that has to go into what makes an effective challenge prize. So how do you know if you've got it right? So you've got your problem. How do you know it's the right problem, that it's 200 miles rather than 300 miles or 100 miles? How do you know you've got your prize award right, £10 million, £5 million, £20 million? How do you know you've got your stages of support right? You have to ask the people that you want to apply to the prize, basically. You have to go out, and this is a lot of what we do. You speak to innovators. You go, could you solve this problem? Yes or no? OK, we'll adjust it a bit. Would this level of incentive incentivize you to address this problem? Yes or no? OK, we'll adjust it a bit. What types of support would you need to stop doing what you're doing and address this particular problem? And we'll adjust it a bit. And then the other element is always speaking to the beneficiaries, whoever it is that you're solving the problem for. If they solve this, would you use it? Otherwise, you're solving a problem that has no owner. And that's the really important process before launching any challenge prize.